Catch Texas in Color every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
That's right.
All right, everybody. Good morning, everybody. We are back. We've been out for a little bit, and we need that much needed vacation to get away. And Texas in Color is back every Friday. And we're here again with Dr. Veronica Brooks and my friend, Mr. George Green is here in the house. I'm Ronald Gordon. And the things that we do on this show is to bring out the things that's going on in Texas. And right now, the legislature, I can never say that word right, it's going to be forming or going to be together in a couple of weeks. And there is a lot of things on there that's going on. We want to talk about the ins and outs, what's going on. And it's just, we have a lot to talk about on how they bring these bills along and how things going to get going. I just realized one thing. Let me go back to my page right here I just realized one thing, that they meet, let me see here, let me get that right, for 140 days throughout the year. And when it starts, here it is. They meet every 2 years in Austin for 140 days, unless the governor calls for a special election. So me, myself personally, there are plenty of times a special election could have been called in 2024, but it didn't happen. And so now we're going on right now, getting things started. And I advise everybody to get down there and see how Texas government is ran. Go down there, because they're saying that the first 40 bills or 40 days is going to be crucial. It's going to be a lot of things going to be brought up, and school vouchers is the heaviest one out there right now. For what I'm gathering, there's some people that don't think it's going to pass the first time around, because it's too much in or too little in there, and they want to know what's going on. So the school vouchers, even though a lot of people say it's a slam dunk deal, but there's getting some pushback on there on how it's going to affect the public schools and private schools. Any thoughts on that, Dr. Brooks? Oh, first of all, I did introduce y'all, didn't I? I got to have it going right straight to and not introducing. So I'll let y'all go ahead and introduce yourself. I just went on. My bad.
Oh, no, you did good. You already introduced us. But, as he said, I am Dr. Veronica Brooks, and I am just here. We're going to talk about a little bit of the legislative things that go on, because some people don't actually know what that is and what they do. So it's like, I think we probably have to break it down even more, because they need to know what is going to happen next. And I think if they get a easier breakdown of what the legislative does and how it affects us, all this stuff, what you just actually talked about, basically, I think people will get that clear understanding. So I think Mr. Green probably could break it down for us even more, because, Congress, they are the lawmakers, but they need to understand. I think the people need to understand that portion before we go into, because breaking out, because see, I disagree with a lot of the stuff that they're doing, and you guys know how I get. So I'm trying to be good about just trying to not get so frustrated with Abbott and what he's doing. And then, because it doesn't even make sense to me how they even operate. So that's why, Mr. Green is here.
Well, thank you, Dr. Brooks, and good morning to everyone, and Happy New Year, and God bless everyone into this new year. Yes, my name is George Green. I'm a born and native Texan, former councilman here in New Braunfels, Texas, and former member of Governor Abbott's Committee for Disaster Funds. So it seems like the more I look at what they do and how they do it, the more I scratch my head as to what and why they're doing it. But yes, if you're in Texas and if you're a property owner and if you own or drive a vehicle, what is happening in the legislature will be impacting you, your kids, your grandkids, so on and so forth. So it's worth everyone's while as a Texan to get involved. And as our Ronald Gorman has said, it's a lot going on, and this show is about what is happening in Texas, and we could break it down even further. Ronald, we need to get to some of the House bills and Senate bills that are being passed and being looked at, and encouraging people to get involved and how to get involved.
Yeah, I was just reading this right here when you were saying this. It said people interested in watching this shouldn't expect much action when it comes to passing bills in the early days. It specifies during the first 60 days of a regular session, neither the House nor the Senate can pass any bills. Huh? I, I'm not winking. I just want to know why.
So confusing.
Well, they can still do a lot during these first. I think it's 40 or 60 days. I forget the number, but there's a lot of activity that can be going on with the legislators prior to them taking action. And don't forget, there's bills that will take effect. Well, that has taken effect January 1, that there's going to be a lot of discussion on.
You know what? I had read, and I wish I would have got, they said that Biden had signed like 50 bills. Is that a true statement or not? And then he vetoed one of them.
Well,
And
go ahead.
and then because I said, wait a minute, he did what? So if he signs off and get, certain things, those bills done and passed, I mean, how long would it take for somebody to undo that?
Probably the very next day once they take office. I don't know. But,
I just remember reading it, and then I was trying to look for all the 50 bills that he had signed. He did actually, it was done when I was reading the article, it was done on December 24th.
okay.
So that's why because people, they write stuff out there and then you got to go back and you got to fact check it, make sure it's lined up. I was like, dog, we got to go through all this just to make sure it's correct.
Well, that's the neat thing about if you get up and go down the Capitol in Austin, you can see this firsthand, and then you could see it yourself. And what's that old saying? Somebody went go fishing. It was a minnow. By the time 10 stories are told, it was like Shamu. They add to the story. Instead of adding the facts, they add to the story to build it up to make it sound better. But once the facts come out, and that's the sad thing about it. We will believe the untruth. But then when the truth come out, we question the truth, but we don't question the untruth. And that's part of the problem of social media, the way things get out there, because people will latch onto that and remember that, but don't remember the truth that really happened. And that's part of the problem we have right now is so much falseness going out there that sometimes I'm scared to even fact check them. I want to make sure they're right too. So that's why we got to go in person to see this.
Yeah, because that's what.
Yeah, that's right.
It says it. It says Biden signed 50 bills on Christmas Eve. I just need to know what bills all of them. He did that. That's what they're saying. So I don't know exactly what was the 50 bills that he had signed. And that's what since we're talking about them even the legislative, I don't know what exactly they're going to be discussing, besides, I think you mentioned something about one with the Abbott that was what was that involving the vouchers, the
The
pro
voucher
vouchers
is
and
the
things like
hottest.
that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, you're either going to do something good for America or you're either not going to do it. So my thing is, what are you really doing to help America build even greater? Because everything American does affects the whole entire world. And that's what people have to see. When we do things, it affects each and every country. That's why they look up to us and they try to follow through, because we have such a stronger leader, supposed to be a leadership, basically, to me, to in those countries, but we affect every country.
Oh yeah, we do. We do, especially Texas. So
But yeah, we're a big state, and so a lot of other states and leaders in other states are looking at what Texas does or what Texas doesn't do. It depends. So yes, it impacts the rest of America.
see, you're talking about what bills are going on. It was one bill that stuck out in my mind, that took effect January 1st was you have to worry about getting what is that thing? The tag, not the tag, the state inspection. They cut that out. But this is the tricky part about it. You're still being charged $7.50 because
Really
that's what it
makes
costs. See, if you read the bill right, it says they're going to abolish it because there's too many Ponzi schemes going on with that, and they decided to get rid of it. They're going to trust the Texans to do the right thing to make sure their cars are properly taken care of to be on the road. But they put in there, you still have that $7.50 added on when you renew your tax. But there are more than several counties that say, hold up, wait a minute, we're still going to charge for emission test. So, and that's about 18 bucks right there, charge for emission test. So it was written, my opinion, I thought was poorly written, because if you abolish the state inspection, why are you still taking $7.50 for each person to go ahead and get their tags renewed? So
Well, yeah,
that's
that was such a it was so crazy because you had to go to one place to get your inspection, and you had to go to another place to get your license. So it was really confusing and messed up as it was. Now you just have to go to one place, and we're talking about non-commercial vehicles here.
right.
Commercial vehicles are different animals. So now you just go to one place and you pay that $7.50 and you're done. Simplifies it, and it takes a lot of headache out of driving clear across town to get to another spot. So I view that as a plus for the consumer, and takes a lot of headache out of getting that process done.
Yeah. Well, we still giving $7.50 for nothing being done. That's what I'm
Yeah.
still doing that. They still getting their revenue that they were always getting. Because, you talking about if they cut that out, the shortfall would be that it hit the general fund real quick for the roads and highways.
So, Ron, okay, let me get a clear understanding here, because I had heard about that. So they're doing away with the mandatory, uh,
State inspection for your vehicle.
right? Doing away with it, but you still got to have it inspected,
No,
right, to drive it, right?
you don't have to get an inspection sticker at all anymore.
That's okay. That might be a good thing. Okay.
Yeah. How of y'all pulled up to a place and they tell you, now this is what they talking about the Ponzi scheme. You pull up to a place and you got a bulb that's out for your turn signal. They're charging you $25 to put a $1.99 bulb in. I understand that part right there because I said that's okay. I'll go buy my own, but that happened to me. I'll go buy my own bulb and put it in. And back then they said you have so many days to come back without being charged again to do the inspection over again. Am I right on that, Mr. Green?
You're absolutely right. Yes.
Okay. So I went out and I went to AutoZone, plug in for AutoZone, and I got a bulb. I put it in, went right back out there and passed it. So I agree with you when they say that people are getting over when they charge this gotta be fixed, this gotta be fixed, this gotta be fixed. You look up $7.50 inspection sticker comes up to like almost $55 to get it if they repair everything. So I get that part. I get it.
Yeah, because
Yes,
they're
yes,
charging
and
double just more than, that's charging. It's always so much, I had to, it's crookedness, that goes on. And that's why people don't even trust the government, they have problems. But that's why we're here as people just trying to fight just to get things right and really make common sense and good judgments on stuff, just making a decision. So and about if you want to get rid of education and then you want to
Yeah.
Starve the kids to death at school.
Mhm.
You don't want them to have it, but yet you want to have a bunch of guns that's been killing people. It doesn't line up. We got to make the stuff make sense. When they do stuff, it has to make sense, and it doesn't.
Well, I noticed I read some of the bills. I was going through them in December. I was reading it and I stopped reading because I got tired, but I did not see one bill in there about gun control. Not one. I mean, it's probably in there way down there at the bottom, but I didn't go that far yet because there's a lot of bills out there that they're going to talk about in this session right here. And gun control, for what I seen, was not in there. Am I right or wrong? Anybody see anything out there that I didn't see?
I never
well,
see anything about gun control is except for when they have the nice festivals where you could go sell your gun and have a display. I see that. I ain't seeing.
Yeah.
well, Ronald, I think you're right. You can, I think we've talked about earlier. There could be anywhere in the neighborhood of 8,000 or so bills that will be brought up during the session, and this is Texas, as we've said before, and you'd be hard pressed to find a gun control bill anywhere in your earlier readings, Ron. And I'd venture to say you probably won't see one dealing with gun control in Texas. That's someone that's born and raised here. So we're doing good with the inspections. We've helped the people there with the inspection process, and now we're working on the vouchers and educating our people.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up is the driver license renewal. Now, I don't know when that was passed, but there have been a lot of pissed off people out there. I went to get my driver license renewed. I got something in the mail and it stated I need to make an appointment. I never heard of that before. Before you just walk right on in and do it. But I got online, I made an appointment, I went down there. I seen too many people coming there upset. I didn't have my driver license. I got to have it today. Or something they needed. I'm sorry, you got to make an appointment. Well, how can I make an appointment? About 3 weeks out. So I don't know when that passed. I'll be honest with you, because it ain't every day you renew your driver license.
Right.
That was
You're supposed to
another.
be online.
Yeah, so before you could drive on up, get a driver test, do all that. Now everything, you have to schedule an appointment. I don't know if it happens because of the pandemic. I don't know. I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But those are some of the things that sort of slip past everyday people from knowing. And so our job is going to be to let everybody know what the new bill is going to be when they come out, especially with this session in right now, because we got to know what's going to pass. And I'm pretty sure there's a website on there for us to look at, see what's going to pass. So that's going to be our job to educate the Texans on about what was passed and when it's going to take effect.
Yes, and on the driver's license issue, I'm with you, Ronald. I can't remember how far back it went that this new process was approved. But it's done, and something to the effect, and we need to read that and look at it, see specifically what it says. But we need to renew the driver's license every X number of years. Some of the reasons is that we had some years ago, we had an escapee, I'll just put it that way, that he kept coming back into Texas and was murdering people. And, you know, they'd lock him up and then they release him and lock him up and release him. You come to find out, you know, when they took a picture of his driver's license, it was so old that they had no current picture of who the person was. And yet he was committing these crimes. And so I think that's when everything with the driver's license really got kicked into fast forward to make these changes and revisions, and yeah, we need to stay on top of that one.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because when I went to get mine done, I have not taken a picture with my driver license for at least a decade. It's been the same picture.
Yeah.
So I went out and I took another picture, and they said, "Oh, you didn't age that much." I said, "Oh, thank you." But you're right. It was over a decade before I went down and got a new picture done. And you're right about that. And because people facial features change and all that good stuff, you don't know who they are.
Exactly.
Especially the old driver license pictures. The picture's not even that readable. It wasn't that sharp as it is now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so they must just change that, because I think I had it was last year. Yeah, last year. About 7 months. I had went online and just typed it in, and they asked, was everything the same? And that was about it.
Yeah.
And then they sent me my license.
Well,
So I don't know when that law changed.
And I didn't want to speak too soon, but it depends upon your driver's your record. If it's been free and clear for X number of years, you just go online and check some boxes and pay your money, and they send you your license. But you can I was trying to remember the number of years you can go, 6 years or 12 years, I forget exactly, but you can go a pretty good length of time before you have to go back in and go through the process. So it depends upon your driver's record.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I don't have anything with, see, that's another thing. I don't have no tickets, no accidents or nothing, anything like that, for about, I guess, 20 years or so. But anyway, it's just, the insurance.
Yeah.
It just everything, even you're getting your license, and then yet your insurance goes up when you don't have any tickets or accidents or anything like that, but yet they jack that up. And then your license has to be, clean and clear when you renew. Well, I don't know if it has to be, but your license is clean and clear and everything like that. But yet the insurance goes up because they said they go by a percentage of the accidents and everything everybody else has. So I have to pay that penalty for being a good driver for everybody else that has wrecked. and did and drove without a license with the company truck and stuff like, and
Yeah.
not even, I could go on because see that those things like frustrate me because
I'm
I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. You make my money go up and then I haven't had an accident.
Well, which brings to this. Thank you for that segue, Dr. Brooks. Senate Bill 2, known as a property tax relief, is aimed to reduce the burden of property tax on homeowners by limiting annual increase. So one homeowner said when he first bought his house, it cost him $135,000. The new appraisal came in, put it over $200,000, which was very high. At the same time, their insurance go by the appraisal of that house and their insurance rate goes up. So it's almost like you can't win for lose. Your house go up, so does your insurance. And you're looking at people sometimes in a house that's on a fixed income, and it's supposed to help out the elderly, I guess, people over 65. It's supposed to help them out in that department. But it's just, why? I mean, the
See,
appraisers do that, but they don't know what. See, it's nice to pass that bill. Your house is worth more money, but your insurance gonna go up twofolds too for the same house that you paid $135,000 on. It almost doubled. So that means your insurance gonna double too.
that doesn't make sense. See, that's the thing. That's my complaint. That's it make it make sense.
Yeah.
Are you, I'm just saying, is the well, are they the crooks or do they need to, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're ripping us off. You're taking our money. I mean, it's just everything from insurance to even the electric bill. I'm like, golly, it's like I'm paying everybody electric bill. It was 500. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Mr. Green, I know you laughing at me, but it's like it don't make sense. Make it make sense. Please make it make sense.
Well, Dr. Brooks, I'm laughing because in effect, I agree with you. It is very, very confusing. And as much as they try to simplify it, it gets even more confusing because your appraisal is one thing, and then your property taxes are another. Your appraisal office is, they're going to appraise your house, but the people setting your tax rate are those officials that we elect every 3 years or 4 years to put your budgets together. So it could make more sense, if the people that we elect in those positions, help verify it. Because as many times I've sat up there, and your council has the authority to set your property tax rate. Okay, so that's one number. But then your appraisal office, which they don't communicate with them, or at least not on a daily basis, whenever they appraise your house, it's on a different basis. So that you've got two different things going on there. And then your insurance on top of that, that's another wild card. So that's what we have.
Let me throw something at you.
Oh yeah, I was getting ready to throw something too.
I want to throw something at you. Mainly in Black communities all around Texas, they turn around, people buy land or buy a house there. The next door neighbor house maybe worth $65,000. They build a new house right there, and it prays for $265,000. So that means property tax gonna go up everybody on that block because one person built that one house worth that much. They've been doing that a lot,
Yes.
and they continue to do that. Is that called regentrification or something like that? If I'm right? and they do that, and then people sitting there who taxes haven't been that much, all of a sudden they get a rude awakening in December on a new tax rate. Said, where did this come from? I was astonished. Our tax here, I said, you got to be kidding me. You know, it keeps on going up. Somebody just wrote in and said it's profit over people. And that's exactly what it is.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yes, Ronald.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're on the right track. Gentrification is a process in which you, in effect, hit on. And when we were looking at that, we as a city council was looking at gentrification. You have to be really sensitive as to how it impacts those other property owners there, and their tax rate, because many of them are on a fixed income, and granted, you've got a process in there where your taxes are frozen, depending upon where you're at. So that's another thing you got to look at. But some places have voted to freeze property taxes on senior people, and then you also have the disabled. So there's a couple of things in there that can affect your taxes. But gentrification, you have to be really careful with that and how it impacts the neighborhood and the community, because you could be, in effect, you're thinking you're doing a good thing, but then on the flip side, you're actually hurting and pushing the other people out. So you really need to be careful with that.
So, okay, I just clear this up with me, because I the taxes, so we get taxed when we're working. They take tax out, right? They take that out. Then they take tax when we go buy groceries, correct? Then insurance, when we're paying it, everything is taxed there. And then I think they just really need to do away with all this tax and stuff, because that's almost stealing from everybody, because it's too much taxing. I mean, you go buy gas, there's tax on that. It's just too much. It's just too much there. You're taking too much money from the people. And my thing is, I think they should do away with taxes, but then I have to look at why do they need to really tax? What is the purpose behind it? Is it something that they need the taxes to build the roads or whatever? Because it doesn't make sense. You're taxing on top of tax, because if you're taking taxes out of a paycheck and then you have to pay taxes with the IRS, every year, it's just too much taxing. So either somebody needs to clear my mind, or I'm just going to keep, firing those type of darts out there, because it doesn't make sense.
Somebody just wrote in and said, this is not necessarily true. Property values is based on the comp of the area, not just under new construction. In addition to who is doing the appraising, and who built it. We know race and neighborhoods are a factor. And they came back and said, taxes are a revenue for the government, and they take that money and invest it into a global market to make money.
Okay, so they ripping us off. Okay.
I like how you sum that up, Dr. Brooks. Okay, I hear that. So they ripping us off. Well, the local tax is supposed to be there for schools. That's one thing it's supposed to be there for schools. Our local taxes and all that stuff, and everything is for that. And some of it goes towards road improvement, and that's how you get your sidewalks and all that going in. I understand all that, but it's just the burden is on us. Like, we have to really buckle down and worry about our own neighborhoods. We got to start going to the council meetings, the commissioner court meetings, because if they don't know what you want, if you don't tell them what you need. You can sit back all day and say, I need this, need this, and need this, but did you go down there and tell them this is what you need? I was told years ago, you need to get a group of people together, come up what's going on in your neighborhood, and go down there and tell them this is what we came up with, what our neighborhood needs. They will look at it and basically they would take the first priority one right there. If a stop sign is needed there to help prevent accidents and stuff, that probably is priority number one. I'm just thinking out loud, y'all. So don't come back and say what Ron taught. I'm just saying that we have to come together as a community to go down and let our commissioner court, let our council member know what we need in our neighborhood. Because tax dollars paying for that. We also get government grants that come in to help pay for that. So how are they gonna know what to do if we don't let them know what we need? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, very much true. Because when you got a group of 7 or 10, or however large your city legislature is, depending upon the size of the town, you're going to be a lot of times basing what you approve as a tax rate on what has been done in the past, what the area has done as a whole. So it's the whole tax issue is complex in itself, but unless you're up there voicing your opinion, or you and your neighbor's opinion of what's going on, it'll continue going up and up and up. Because as we said, taxes are what's been used to run the city, run the schools, et cetera, et cetera. And if it keeps going up and no one says anything, well, then everyone figures, all is good. But until people start voicing their opinion in numbers, will they start taking action?
Yeah.
That's a good thing, Ron, for just to go and attend a lot of the different council meetings and things like that. But for me, when I'm focusing on, like what Mr. Green said, and you, Ron, saying that, to voice our opinion or whatever concern it is about our community, our neighborhood. My thing is, when I voice, like, for example, if I go voice that opinion, I mean, am I really going to get a true answer or a true action to get done? Because I don't want to just be speaking in air and then things not getting done. And I think we have voiced our opinion in a lot of things for over 200 years. We've been really voicing opinions, all over, I mean, what have they not heard? It's almost like they're trying to come against what we know. The thing is how to even break that barrier there for them to stop that. But can you really break it when there's the racism is there and all those things that are there, and then people want greed or people want power or control? How are we really gonna break that? And there's I really can't say how we can break it, because we
Huh?
sometimes you have to just do what you do all the way unto death. That's just, let me put it like that. But I'll leave that alone.
Okay.
Well, Dr. Brooks, I believe, and I have seen that you get there's strength in numbers. That's very, very important, especially with government. And you get enough people together to voice your opinion on what is going on, and then you're most likely to get the action. And so remember, though, when you're looking at your city taxes, your garbage collection, that's all part of that service. And many of the other, the streets, that's part of the service. The drainage, that's part of the service. So those things are impacted by you paying in to those taxes. So So yes, you can in effect in numbers make an impact, and that's what I would encourage people to do.
Okay. Switch gears again. The legislature for the state, one of the first things that they're going to tackle is going to be the budget. And I'm reading it right now. It's going to be the budget to tackle. In order to pass anything, you got to make sure you have money. If you don't have the money, nothing's going to get passed. So actually, they're playing around with the money right now, deciding what they're going to do. They want to know if they do funding for the border, tackle mental health. Excuse me. Now, I got a problem with both of those. The first problem is Abbott took money for the mental health and put it down towards the border. And then they say we got a mental health problem. Well, you took the money away, so we couldn't do nothing about it. So they need to pass a bill saying once the money's in somewhere, mental health, whatever, it stays there. You just can't come take it and put it somewhere else. That's
Yeah,
one.
so Abbott needs to go. Abbott needs to get out of there, and they need to put the right person in there and quit playing. And see, that's the thing. That's what pisses me off, because they sit up there and play the games. Ron, I'm glad you even said that. See, this is why I have to go to people like you, when I have certain questions, because then I want to fly off the handle. Because the thing is, see, I don't know what people are not seeing, and maybe we're not getting the information out enough. When people are doing things like that, that means Abbott needs to be out of office. He doesn't need to be, because he's misusing funds. He's abusing funds, and he's hurting the people. And that's the thing we don't want to happen. We don't want to damage our people in America, because it's we the people of the United States. And we're supposed to build up each other. We're supposed to build up our country, not destroy it. And to me, that's letting me see that Abbott is destroying America. Just stuff like that. I watched those things. And if he's doing that, he needs to be completely out of office and removed. Period. He's disqualified, period. Get out.
Well, that's a couple years down the road. 2026 is the next election.
They need to get him out soon.
So, it's amazing how they want. I understand we gotta have a budget. Everybody gotta have a budget. That's how we run things. Even households, we gotta have a budget. It goes down to kids getting their first job. You gotta teach them how to be on the budget. But we need a budget to write things. We're getting away from budgeting something that's good for the community, or for the city, or for the state. We're taking away from things that can help out people that needs help. They want to just take things out. And one thing I disagree on is what happened during the pandemic. The state of Texas refused to take some money from the government or cut it short. Why? It's hurting our people. Number one, if the government wanted to give the state money to help them out, we should take it. That's the bottom line. And do whatever you want to do with it. I mean, the money is there to help out. When we turn around, we feel, well, I just say it. I'm just going to be point blank with it. I am so tired of Republicans and Democrats. They vote party line without even looking at the big picture. They're voting party line just to prove a point. Well, that needs to stop, because you're hurting the people when you vote party line. When I was growing up, whoever ran for office, I didn't care if they're Republican, Democrat, or Independent. I read on each one, and I vote who I thought be the best person for that job. Now everything's so political, they're already got the wall up divided. And it could be a good bill, but I'm not going to vote for it because the Democrats voted it. I'm not going to vote it because the Republicans brought it up. Is this tit for tat or what?
See?
Well, but coming from the point of view of our city, okay, every city and the state should have a balanced budget before the next fiscal year starts. That makes sense. You should balance your budget, expenses and revenue. We have so many people that, and budgeting it's a complex process. And speaking from a local standpoint, we have a lot of people that are on there that has never dealt with government budgeting and government accounting. Government accounting is way way different than other accounting. So much in the fact of the matter, when you get certain government money and it's allocated, it's locked in for an expenditure. Encumbered is one of the words that we use in the budgeting world. That money is encumbered, meaning it cannot be used for anything else but what it's intended for. Mm-hmm. And so that it limits, taking money from Peter to pay Paul kind of thing. Yes. So when you have that encumbered process, and people don't like to encumber money because that means you can't use it for anything else. And so that's one way to minimize some of the things that we were talking about, Ronald. And but you need people on there that is familiar with government accounting, and you have very few.
Yes, and Mr. Green, that was frustrating because when I was contracting, I was contracting specialist in the federal government Department of Defense. So, and then what happens, we sit there, we'll have to wait on them to pass that budget. And we have all these contracts to get awarded. We may need, a certain type of doctor, or we may need some phlebotomists, or we may need to finish this building because it needs to get done. So for the soldiers to have a place to stay in the barracks, they may need, it's a lot of things. But then it's almost everybody does this thing because we're waiting on the budget. It's almost like you're writing a bad check. Because they haven't passed the budget yet. And I think that's like a danger zone. And you're right, because we have to really be careful. You have to use the right, what we call the color of money. We have to make sure it's spent on the right thing and very meticulous of when that money is, may run out and may be no good for that project anymore. Or we do have to deal with that, and it causes a lot of trouble. But I'm telling you, those contracts, I'm grateful for all the ones that I had to sign and get awarded and things like that, and nothing never had went wrong. But I'm also grateful that I'm retired. I don't have to wait on Congress anymore. But it's frustrating too, the contract specialist. And then, when you're getting all that money, see, Elon Musk was smart. That's how he made his money, through government contracts. So he was smart about it. And there's a lot of things that are there. See, there's another thing. They're in the government office and dealing with things. That's a conflict of interest. So, the contracting officer need to really look at that, look at all what he's getting, and really, because I would have shut it all down quickly, because I see a conflict and I see something that is being, you're really stealing. And so I would have just, as the contracting officer, or over that contract, I would actually close it and shut it down until further investigation. That's what I would have done. But he's probably paying off people. But anyway.
Well, I'll say this: when you're involved in government contracting and you're a vendor and you're receiving those government funds, it can be risky, and so that's that's a factor that as a vendor, I would certainly be looking at. But it's a free country. That money is good money when it's there. And when it's not there, then you got to wait until those pockets are filled back up again. And that's just layman's term.
And it's
Before you can
frustrating.
Yeah, it
It's
government
frustrating because
contract.
we have to sit there and like, oh my God, we need to get this awarded. There was a lot of stuff that just goes on in the acquisition arena. And it's really frustrating for a contract specialist to get the, work done when they don't pass the budget. You're throwing everybody in a bind. And usually that budget, September 30th, that's it. That's the last, and we close out, and then October 1st, it usually the fiscal year starts over. But we need that budget already passed by then, but it always seems to linger on, and then it's like we're waiting for a budget. Always. And why is that same thing still happening? And you're sitting up there having the people that are working so hard, staying up late and doing all these things with this contract. Because I remember having to, look over contracts, being up 3 o'clock in the morning, just trying to make sure everything, because when you're over a division and you're trying to make things work out, and then you're trying to look after the health of your employee, because your employees are so good, you want to make sure they're okay, but then you're having this struggle because they won't pass a simple budget.
I can answer that question with my thoughts of it. Y'all want to hear my thoughts?
Yes, I do.
Hey, number one, a budget be passed.
Yeah.
The problem is people want to tag things on there. What's in it for me? And they call that pork belly. And so all of a sudden it inflates because, okay, if you give me $25 million for this, I'll pass the budget going on. So that's $25 million added on to that. That's added on that. And everybody got their hands in the pot. If they just do a budget for what it really is and quit asking for something else, we won't have a problem. But that's how we got things geared up. What's in it for me? It's always what's in it for me. No, what's in it for us, the country, not just you. And we find that out. Well, I want a bridge built. Well, I want this new road done. I want all this done. That's what your state is there for. But they want a handout, and chances are some of that money is not going towards that. I'll be honest with you, some going in their pockets. But see, that's the problem we have when you want to pass a budget. People add on other stuff that they want. That's just my opinion.
That's a good opinion too. And that's what if we can find people that really love America and somebody that's really for the people. Because just like my family, we teach them about budgeting, and we teach them to invest, but we start them at a very young age. That's why my kids aren't, they're grown and everything, but they invest, they buy things but when you find somebody in America that cares about America just like they care for their family, America would even be greater than ever before, and it would flourish in a way that we could have everybody on a certain level, even in the building their wealth, from the poorest even to the richest. Everybody would be in line, but it's just we have so many, it's the wrong people in the wrong position. Do you really love America? That should be key. Do you really love your country? Do you really? You have to really think about those type of things. And when you see people, they'll say, they talk all this this thing like they're for you, like for instance, the orange man, well, Trump, I'll say, he said all these things, but now he reneged on it. He backed up. See, but he lied. In other words, he said, all I wanted was just your vote and just get out of the way. But not really loving the country and what it stands for.
Yeah.
Our country is great. We have the greatest people here. We have people that even help build it, especially in my community, that built it to even be greater. And that was here even before, you have to go all the way back into history, we were already here. But the thing is, you have to love your country and you have to serve your people in that country, people that are willing to do above and beyond to make it better, to make it great, and to make it beautiful. We are the people, and we have to get the people in the right place and the people that care about America.
Mr. Green?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's right. We need to get the right people in the right place for the right reason, and it can be just like bing, bing, bing. But getting that done is where the difficulty comes in, because you've got a lot of people that are out there for selfish reasons, and so we end up a lot of times where we at and with who we have in those positions. But again, it goes right back to we the people, as the doctor was saying. We the people, we are the ones that place these folks in the positions that they're in. So it's we the people that should have and take accountability for who we have in these different spots. So I guess you could say the burden really falls back on us again, as to get the right people in for the right reasons. So yeah, there you go.
All right, boy, y'all know this hour went by already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too fast.
So
Too fast.
Yep.
25. Way to go.
yeah. Well, I like to thank Dr. Veronica M. Brooks and George Green for being part of this show, getting the word out. I'll be sending things out because I'm gonna go down to the Capitol when this goes on, because I want to see it for myself, and not just one time. I'm gonna be down there several times, especially when some key bills are going to be up that's going to be voted on. I want to have my butt right there in the chambers to see what's going on so I can report back. And I think everybody need to exercise their rights and going down because it's free. They don't charge to go see. It's free. So only thing gonna cost you is driving down there in time. That's it. So but
Yeah, we need to definitely make a plan to go there. It's really interesting when you're sitting in there,
yeah,
especially when you're in Congress and they're trying to all the numbers going and they're voting. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
you can hear it straight from their mouth, where they can't waffle back on it, because it's in record. Once you say it and voted on it, everything is in record. You can't come back and say what I really meant to say. It's already voted on. You know what you meant to say. So you said
right.
So all right, well, I appreciate everybody joining us today. Y'all have a good weekend. Oh, one thing, be prepared next week, everybody, because winter is coming Tuesday. We may not get out of the 40s on Tuesday, so y'all just sit back and relax and sit in your cozy little room and tune in next Friday with Texas in Color. And we won't let you know the temperature, but we'll let you know how hot the Capitol is getting.
That's right.
Oh, but hey, I feel like I'm already there. It's like it's freezing to me when it's 60.
Well, you wait till next week.
Yeah. But Happy New Year to everybody again. I just, you have a wonderful Happy New Year and stay focused. and stay prepared and ready. That's a must.
All righty,
Yep.
Dr. Brooks, Mr. Green.
Yes, sir.
We'll catch everybody next week.
All
Okay.
right.
Happy New Year.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay.
Thank you for watching Texas in Color. Please tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you'll be notified each and every time we go on live.